going on? What's going on, FBA? Shame TV. I might have to turn my camera so I could finish doing what I was doing. But I do want to say what's up to everybody first before I start. Gatorade or Powerade instead of so early. Come on in for those who are awake so early in the morning. All right, anyway, any hoot. If you see the thumbnail, you'll know what's going on. I do want to ask this question to the people. How do you, particularly you, I was gonna say how does it, but snowing again. How does it feel to be watched? That's the theme of today. We want to know, how does it feel to be watched? You know what I'm saying? Study. Now we knew through COINTELPRO and all that stuff, we knew that the government was watching us. You know, that wasn't something that was, us being watched is not that new of a thing, but we thought it was just, those people watching us, not, our people, the people who we brought over here and let come over here and fought to come over here as allies, and they decided, hold on, y'all, who fought as allies and they decided to act another way. So I hope the volume didn't change because the car went off. That's how long I've been sitting here. But anyway, we're going to turn the camera and talk so I can do my thing. Yes, it's been a long time since I've gone live. I kind of want to give it at least 5 minutes. They probably won't even send out notifications that I'm live like that for real. I don't even go live so much anymore. Every time I do a live, I be like, I'm trying to change that and go live more. And then look at the date or the time that I last went live, and that shit been like mad long ago. But we here, people, we here. I'm gonna come back on camera in a second. Peace. I'm gonna come back on camera. I'm just extracurricular activitying it up right now. So we're gonna be professional for the people. But the question will get asked, how do you feel? How does everyone feel? If you've seen the thumbnail is attached to a whole video that I just posted. And I just want to know how everyone feels, man, to be studied like that. For people to be holding classes. Did you see how he was dressed with the do-rag and all of that? That was crazy, yo. That was so crazy. The chain and the do-rag and the run me my fade. But on a serious note, though, it is something that I think that we should all start to really pay attention to. As foundational Black Americans, Black people born in this country, living here, we really, really, really don't pay attention to stuff like that. And y'all know that we don't. Like, growing up in this country, we don't sit around talking about other people. I just got off the phone with my best friend. He's basically like my brother. We've been best friends since 14 years old, 15 years old when I moved down south. And this brother, we were both laughing because we were laughing at the same thing, meaning we never talk about anybody except like sometimes to make fun of them, but not in a malicious way. Like when we talked about Jamaicans, it was like we would say if anybody said Jamaicans to us, we would say Bombaclot or something like that and just laugh. But we didn't hate those people, you know. Like if we met somebody from Africa, we would ask where they were from. Oh, that's crazy. You're from Senegal. That's what's up. Blah 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 blah, and move on like that. You know what I mean? But it's crazy, man. You said in Lawrence or Dorchester. Dorchester is where I was born, man. I'm out here in Worcester now, though. I like Worcester. It's safer. Not so much safer, but I mean it's much safer than fucking Dorchester. But it's just a better place, man. It's a nice little city that's really building, and so I like it here. I like what they have here, like the things and the spots that I go to. All of them are like right around here, and I'm not far from Boston. I could just take Route 9 and I'll be home in like 48 minutes or some shit, 45 minutes sometimes. So I like that shit. But yeah, man, it's like we don't be paying attention how a lot of people really feel. And I do want to say this just in case for anybody who hears this, anybody who's Caribbean, Jamaican, Haitian, all of that. I do want to appreciate y'all who are cool because a lot of you are how we found out how a lot of the other people feel. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys are the ones who were telling us how these people felt about us. You guys were telling us what they, like yo, like my such and such is really racist or my whatever. This is how they think. Like, no, I don't really fuck with them. Don't listen to that or whatever. So we appreciate y'all for that. But the totality and the rest, man, like this is fucking crazy. It's really sickening if you think about it. Like all the things that we as foundational Black Americans did, and then the way that we accepted you guys. When you guys came here, you were immediately brought in. Basically, like we would immediately tell y'all stop wearing church clothes to school, nigga. Like wear Adidas or you know what I mean, wear this, wear that. Like that's how it was. We weren't trying to shit on y'all. Nobody was. But if you think about it, if I'm gonna be honest, man, because I have this conversation a lot. A lot of the stuff in Boston was bad, especially as far as crime, due to a lot of the Irish and Italian gangs. All right. So most black gangs were street gangs, meaning up here, like most niggas gang or was your street. You know what I'm saying? So, and if it wasn't your street, it was your street and like two more adjacent streets. And then y'all, that was y'all gang. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't all over the city where like these niggas in this particular gang from Wendover or whatever, they wasn't all over the city. You know what I'm saying? That was their gang, that was their spot. You know what I'm saying? But if you go up and you come through Columbia Road and you go up past Howell Street and all them, then you got these niggas in their little gang and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't until a lot of the Jamaicans and shit started coming in when really a lot of the drug gang shootings and all of that shit started kicking off up there, man. It's like a lot of our problems that we have in our community are these people who are not from our community who cosplay as us and come into our communities. That's just how it is. So now that we recognizing it, it's really gonna make it hard for them. Like it's gonna start really making them look creepy. Like when you look at that thumbnail of this live, when you look at that dude, don't that shit look kind of creepy to you? Like couldn't that be regarded as being creepy? That you would actually sit down and start telling other people how to pretend to be a certain group of people in a whole nother country that they not from. They don't know these people. They don't know shit. They don't know how many hoods say run me my fade. They don't know what group of black people talk like that or don't talk like that. They just gonna come out and say it. Hey, run me my fade. Like everybody say that shit. What's good? Like everybody say that shit. Everybody doesn't say that shit. Everybody doesn't say no homo. But that being what it is, we can slightly not make that the biggest point in the world. Another point to make it that is creepy is that, again, you're actually sitting there doing it. The whole act itself is creepy. Like, listen, Nigerians, sit down, have a seat. Now, we're going to teach you how to be a Black American. What's up, yo? Hey, what's up, my nigga? Peace, God. Da, da, da. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, nigga? And then you telling me that y'all gonna actually do this shit? You're gonna actually do this shit? You're gonna actually put on clothes and mimic and all of that shit? Like, how? What are you? Like, for real, I'm for real, man. Like, what are you, dog? Like, what the fuck are you, dog? Like, are you real? Are you real? Because that's really, really fake, man. That's really synthetic. That's I don't know what to call that. I could, like, the only words that come to me are like things like shapeshifters and chameleon, of course, but that seems a little too weak to use the term chameleon, because a chameleon actually has a color. It just switches colors to protect itself when deemed necessary. You're not doing this shit for protection unless you feel that you're protected as a human if you portray yourself in the world as me. So let me get this straight. The only time that you feel that you can be safe in the world, the only safety that you have, the only time you can feel whole in the world is if you walk around the world pretending that you're me. Because ultimately, that's what you're saying to me. Ultimately, you're telling me the only reason that you feel safe, the only reason you feel comfortable in the world is that you get to walk around and comfortably play me. So if you could walk around and comfortably play me in the world, you're totally okay with that shit. I slightly feel honored. It's like they talk about us and they try to knock us and say that we talk about our contributions so much and we whatever. First off, we do that because we're in a country that tries to deny everything so much. Like, you could, I bet you right now, man, you guys could take whatever amount of money that you feel that you can have, that you can lose, and you can offer it up and walk around and randomly ask the smartest people you think, go to nothing but universities and walk around and ask them about the first, ask them, have any Black Americans ever designed, built, or any automobile or anything like that, and watch what they tell you. So that's what we be fighting against. That's why we have to promote stuff so much so that we hold on to it. We have to do that. It's a necessity. It's not being a braggart so much as you may think. You may believe or think we're being braggadocious and that's where it's coming from. No, it's not. No. And it definitely isn't directed to a Haitian or a Jamaican or an African or anything like that, man. It's not even directed to you. That's crazy, man. You're only here because of us. And then you watch what we do, but you don't watch what we do. You see what I'm saying? Like, the reason we are the way we are, and we have the swagger that we have, and Peace Cupcake, and we have the swagger that we have, is because of what we went through and how we come out of it and continue to go through things. That's what makes us what we are. You can't fucking watch a video and cosplay me, man. That's why we find you out every time with ease. Most people now, and I'm so appreciative of these people who are now coming out and telling the world the whole truth. It's people who deal with black people, and they deal with foundational black American people, or they deal with, and they also dealt with Africans, and they've even said how the Africans always seem to always have, and Caribbeans always seem to have something to say about black Americans. Always negative. Let's put it in perspective. Something negative to say about us. And when they contrast it to the point that they know that we don't sit around talking negatively about Africans. We don't sit around in groups like, okay, boy, those Trinidad, those people from Trinidad and Tobago, those people are just, oh my goodness, yo, won't you go back to your country? Every time I turn around, I see a Trinidad flag. Trinidad so fly. Won't you go back to Trinidad? Why are you over here waving your flag? That makes zero fucking sense. And blah, 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 blah. We never sat around doing shit like that, man, ever. But this part, this cosplaying part, this is very deep. This is some psychological shit. Because it's like you only feel comfortable if you walk around and pretend that you're me. So if you can convince the world that you're a foundational black American, you find benefit in that. You find comfort in it. Obviously, you find more than likely worldly benefits of it than being deemed an African. Or, hey, I'm from Senegal, and this is because the people in Senegal, let's be real, man, this goes all across the board. You guys sat around and your parents sat around, which is where you get it from, watching us, bro. Watching us on videos, rappers, all that shit. And you watched how we dress. When you moved here, you got to this country, you started seeing us, how we moved, how we dressed. Because like I said, when you guys got here and you started going to school with us, you were wearing church clothes and stuff. You were wearing penny loafers and ties to school. We don't do that here, except if you were in certain Catholic schools or private schools. They were the only people who did that. So when we saw somebody in a tie and church clothes going to school, we automatically knew, oh, that's a person who goes to a Catholic school, or that's a person who goes to a private school. Not going into public school, Emily A. Fifield or some shit like that, Woodrow Wilson Middle School, and you just walking in there. And y'all did, man. Y'all used to come outside with church clothes on, man. Like you'd be outside trying to play and running around and that shit. But eventually, after being around us, that changed. After coming around us, being around us, you started to dress like us. You know what I mean? You begin to talk like us. A lot of you guys used to catch flack from your parents for doing so. That's another part of this that makes this so deep. Like you guys really used to get. All right, I know nothing's really anecdotal at this point because all this stuff is basically what it is now. You know what I mean? It's known as what it is. But it's like you guys, when you cosplayed us when you were young, you had to sneak and do it. Like the Puerto Ricans and shit that be talking about how they created hip hop. How you create hip hop, nigga, when half y'all used to have to change clothes at the bus stops and in school into the clothes that we were wearing normally every day from home. Y'all would have to, and I dare them to lie about that shit. Cause I'm from city, nigga. Yes, y'all did. Y'all couldn't just be dressing and acting like us. Remember, hip hop was a banned thing. It wasn't so promoted like that. But y'all used to catch flack, man. You guys used to catch flack from your parents for being like us. Now it's so advantageous for you to be like us. It's an open known thing because you've been doing it, and now you guys are my age or older, so you're probably in your 50s, and you're doing it now. Your kids, now it's like to them it's a norm, but that's not a norm. Like to get up every day and grab basketball, certain basketball sneakers, certain pair of jeans, t-shirt, bloom, a hat, cap, wear it a certain way, and all that shit like that with your jacket matching all that. All that's foundational Black American. No one in America was doing that shit. That's a norm now. It's so much of a norm that when you go to other countries now, even though the stuff is dirty, used, things like that, it's still what they wear. Who is Cook? Oh, I grew up in Dorchester. I grew up in Boston. Right in the hood. But it wasn't really the hood like that, like it is now. Like I said, like back then, like coming out of my grandparents owned my house. If I haven't posted it to YouTube, but I posted to my Facebook where I grew up, my actual house that I lived in. And that house wasn't just my house. Like I told the whole story behind it. Like my grandparents raised my mother and all her brothers and sisters, 12 kids, were raised by my grandparents in that home. And so when my grandparents were ready to leave Massachusetts and go down south, that's my parents. It coincided right at the perfect time. My parents, my father had got a great job with the city, and my mother was like her second year in a great job with New England Telephone Company. And so boom, it was like both of them had great jobs at the same time, boom, and they bought that house from my grandparents. So I then grew up in the house that that my mother's family and all my aunts, uncles grew up in. You know what I'm saying? So my bedroom was probably, I think my mother said 2 of her sisters shared my bedroom that I had when I grew up. And I posted a video showing how now the people who own this house, they've owned it for a while, since 1990, 91-ish. And they're taking the siding off the house, the blue siding. I was just over there with my daughters, and they would take to show them in the house again, and they were taking the siding off the house. And yeah, man. And my parents put that siding on the house in 1986, 87, the summer of 80. It could have even been 85. 85, between 85 and 87, summer, my parents put that blue siding on that house. Had it put on, of course. So I remember, and now it's coming down. So that's crazy. But yeah, man. See, but that just goes to show you even more foundational Black American history. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm talking about my grandparents growing and buying that house and my family growing up in that house, we're going back. We're talking about the 1950s, 60s, all through the 70s, whatever, early 70s, late mid 60s, 70s. That's right when the immigration started and all of that shit started coming in. Yep. And I remember my grandfather talking about it, saying how come these people keep coming here from these countries and getting money and stuff for stores? And he goes to the bank, he's a veteran, business owner, has great credit, all this, and he can't get a loan to buy a store. Freaking a bishop, minister in the community, he can't, but he's black, and he can't get a nothing. But these people come from other countries, and bam, all of a sudden they got a store with stuff in it. Where'd that shit come from? How? What are you doing? What did you do to get that? But if you guys haven't know, Donald Trump the other day said that the 14th Amendment was for Black Americans. That's a known thing now, which should have already been a known thing. Clarence Thomas caught a lot of flack for getting rid of affirmative action, voting against it. And most people, again, they just do not understand that that stuff was made for freed men. It was made for foundational Black Americans to use or not use. But what it was not made for was for every other person and their grandmother to take advantage of it. And that's what has been going on. If you want perks, earn them yourself the way we did. People are really talking about birthright citizenship being ended as though he's actually being evil by doing that. No, what he's saying it is the way to get into the country, and you can't come over here. Why would you risk coming over here 9 months pregnant just so you could drop a child here and then anchor yourself here? That's very dangerous. It really is. So then the other thing would be then, well, these people need to do this because where they're from, such and such and such. Well, what you're trying to say then is you're trying to make their problem my problem. Now, if you feel that you want to help them, then you should help them. You should sponsor them. But what you shouldn't do is take resources that are for people in your country. So like if somebody in your country gets on hard times, they could do something called get on welfare. That means they won't be homeless and they'll still survive until they can formulate another plan to get themselves back on their feet. There are some people who have mental illnesses and they'll probably use welfare for the rest of their life. But those are things for people in your country, for people from your country to use. Not for someone from Nicaragua. Not for someone from the Congo. Not for someone from Port-au-Prince or whatever the fuck. That's not who it's for. I don't know if that sounds harsh because I don't want it to, but it's not who it's for. So then you using something that my people help establish for ourselves, and you use it with like such reckless abandon, and you use that shit with such like you insult us the entire time you're using our benefits. It's like someone invites you in because I saw you outside starving. You sit down at the table, and then each time you keep taking a bite, and you're getting healthier and healthier, with each bite. And each time you're like, this shit should have more seasoning. Man, y'all don't have no fucking seasoning. You people suck. You people are trash, man. This fucking bread needs some more butter. What? That's crazy. So, I'm about to run in the house, guys. These people are cosplaying us, y'all. They're acting like they're us. I think that's a psychological thing. I think that's deeper than I want to go at this particular second, because I'll keep on going. Like, damn, man, you actually sat down and said, this is how you say, run me my fade. Like, why are you running me my fade? Shame TV. Thank you for your time, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe.